is going on, guys? Cristian Gray here. I am at the World of Beer here in Fort Worth, and I kind of want to take a little bit step back. You probably saw my last case study, but this is one that does hit as close to home to me as anybody else. I have my buddy Brian Young, and I don't even consider him a case study or a client. He's just a long-term fan, and in a way, we could say we're kindred spirits.
Definitely.
And I'm actually going to let him take the lead on this one, but I want you to know that being able to take somebody who's going through the midlife crisis and starting a new life success, we just kind of talked a little bit here, is your career doesn't start until you see the light. And so, Brian, why don't you go ahead, let the team know like how you met me, how we met, and what was it that like we've been able to see you grow and help you grow together to the next point of your life.
I will say that Gray here is dead on with kindred spirit, because from day one, which started with We Should Talk, to me reading his book and him not being good at science, I was like, fuck it, I knew there was a reason I like this guy. That this guy has done wonders for me. So, you know, we met at a networking group when I was trying to hustle insurance, and that ended up not being right for me. But we stayed in touch. He saw something in me, and I knew this was a guy to keep in my phone book. I have a job. I'm a pharmacy tech by trade. I have been off and on for 12, 13 years. And none of those positions have let me go to the next level. And, you know, I kept wondering why I'm giving the same resume to 100 companies and why no one's biting. I give my resume to this man, and we have a long phone call. We break it down, we dissect it, and build it up from scratch. And you know, the long and short of it is that in a couple weeks I start a new job with a 40% raise, and I give all the credit to this man here.
And you know that's one of the things is like he actually said like, dude, I can't afford a coach. And at the time, as I myself was struggling with trying to get resumes, $50, $75, just throwing a number out there, not solidifying what I'm worth, right? Like I just needed the money. And I would put in, like, imagine 2 hours for $75. Yeah. I'm working less than, you know, $35 an hour, whatever.
Right.
And I don't want that, because it's hard to get the lead and then close the lead, and then you realize like, oh, it's not worth it. And I needed something more. I needed somebody who wasn't just a college student, like with no experience, and the college degree trying to be the exception when really they're the rule. Somebody who is the exception, they just can't see it in themselves. And so, Brian, you have, let's just say, pharmacy tech 13 years, and then financial advising. You put that, he has over 10 years experience. That's 2 minimum pages of resume. For his expertise, he could even easily write a curriculum vitae, a CV. And then I look at his resume, it's one page, and it's just, it looks like jack shit.
Because enough idiots told me, don't go over a page, that I believed it.
When really is, as I tell people, you need a title. I don't, like me as an employer or a recruiter, I don't want to look for, what am I supposed to guess about who is Brian Young, right? Who is Brian? I don't know who Brian is, and you just tell me it's Brian. I'm like, what do you do? So I dissect it. I told him, I'm like, I help people. I would take you on. I just need to know if I can get you from point A, point B, point C. And Brian, what was the process is you have much more of a weight, much more of a chip on your shoulders than I do, I feel. And I look up to you in terms of being a family man.
Yeah.
What was it that like you confided to me with somebody who had like, you know, less experience but knew that one expertise, but was able to see and sympathize with, like, you're a family man and I'm not. So right. Tell the audience.
You know, I think, you know, and I did a similar job for 4 years, and I was fine with it while I finished my degree, because I'm just taking care of me. That company helped me get my degree, and while grateful for that, they weren't willing to pay me for it, you know, at the point when I had finished it. And so I moved on for myself. But it's not just me anymore. I have a wife and son, 3.5 years old, who, you know, by the time he starts building real memories of dad, I don't want him thinking of me working 70 hours a week just to keep a roof over his head.
Yeah.
And so that motivated me to try harder, to realize, you know, I'm not doing something right. What do I need to do to make it right? And then everyone's got answers, but who has answers that works? And then it clicked right away. What this man had to say made a lot of sense. And Some people take life experience and they drown it in a bottle. Other people take life experience and they build an empire off of it, and that's what Gray is doing.
And it's so funny because believe it or not, I helped his resume. I told him exactly what he needed to do, from submitting the resume in terms of the title. What were you applying for? And I didn't hear from him for a while. I didn't hear from him. Like of course, like we both have ADHD.
Yeah.
I have it bad. I am the most focused, unfocused person you'll ever meet. And I reach out to him. I'm like, hey, where are you at? How can I help you? What is your next step? And he says, dude, I have a job interview tomorrow because of your resume. And I'm like, send me the email now of exactly what they need. And in less than 30 minutes, I was able to debunk exactly what they were looking for.
It was later that night. I don't remember the time, but a couple hours, I'd put my kid to bed. I go from driving home from work to putting my kid to bed. So within 2 hours, it could have been 30 minutes, I get an email saying, okay, this is what this means. This is what this means. Strip this down. Know this. Go here. Look at this. Bro had stripped down the recruiter's email, which I thought was just your typical copy paste. Come here for an interview. No, they had instructions that I thought I had followed and needed more work.
And so I tell him, I'm like, make sure you go in a notepad with these questions ready to answer. Like, it's your bullets in the chamber. But if there's something you anticipate, I can't help you that is you being the exception. That is you taking the lead. I can guide you to water. I can't make you drink. So when you drink, understand that there's variables you can't consider. Why are you reluctant? And then how do you do that? And it was that one question they kept on getting to at job interviews was, why don't you go ahead and tell them what that one question was?
What's your biggest weakness?
What's your biggest weakness?
And my first response was, can it be answering that question? And they chuckled and then waited for the real answer.
He was like, I was trying to bypass
I fed him some BS about getting too fixated on specific details of a project. That's how dedicated I am. Apparently it was good enough, but I came back with him and I was like, dude, how do I do this next time?
And I'm gonna tell you this, that there's no secret sauce. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And a lot of people, especially, and I'm gonna say this up front, especially people that are very egotistic and they're more about image and not about personality. And that's exactly the reason why I love Brian. The easiest way to answer what is your biggest weakness is not stating that you have a weakness, but stating that you're going to continually grow, to Kaizen, that you're always going to develop yourself professionally. And it's, I don't know everything, but that means I'm not fixated on the fact that I don't know everything. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to tell you when I make a mistake. I'm going to ask, how can I make this better? Did I do this right? I'm going to look for a little bit of validation. What did I do wrong? How can I make it better? My biggest weakness is I don't know everything, but I'm driven to learn more than I did before.
And I strongly feel that answer is perfect. You don't come off as cocky or, of course no one's going to know everything. They expect that. If you went in there pretending you know everything, I think that's one of the quickest ways to guarantee you're not going to get the job.
Yeah. And I tell Brian, at the end of the day, what it boiled down to was being kindred spirits and seeing that, this guy had so much more than me. And he has his family that he needs to take care of. And, he has it, he just can't see it because you get so fixated on one career, on one job opportunity for so long. I gave him my book not too long ago. He's like, dude, I need to make action work. And that's one of the biggest things is like helping him get from point A to point job, point A to point career. And there's no room for fidgeting. He's like, this is it. This is my catalyst. This is the next job. Brian, I gotta say, it was a freaking process. It wasn't even a journey.
Yeah. I mean, we first met when I was in the networking phase of that last job. So that was December, January.
I think it was January.
Yeah. And so it's we met trying to see how I was going to grow in that job. And when it became evident for other reasons that was going to happen, I still knew what this guy had to say had a lot of merit. So again, great name to keep in your phone book. And, at the end of the book, not to do any spoilers, not that it's not the kind of book anyway, he talks about, I'm handing the gun to you, what the fuck are you going to do with it? And I think at that interview, I pulled the trigger. And I think it's because of the tools and the help he gave me.
And at the end of the day, guys, like, I can guide you to water, I can't make you drink, but understand it's a process. Some people it takes longer, some people it takes shorter. It just really depends. Can you learn, adapt, and change for the better? So Brian, I gotta say, you're gonna be a kindred spirit of mine, so we can't leave each other.
I'm not going anywhere.
But I want you to know it's a pleasure to coach you and keep coaching you, and you teaching me about stuff that I don't know. And I'm really grateful for that. And your support helps me drive stuff for this.
And another thing I want to say is that I think feedback is the best way to run any kind of business, especially a people-facing one, and what isn't that such. You know, I have not been afraid to tell him this part of the book doesn't make sense, or this math might be a little off. You know, and all throughout the way, I was like, I don't understand this, explain it again. I know your last 3 people have got it, but I didn't. So I also praise him for the fact that he's taken what I told him, and he hasn't been like, well, you just don't get it. He's been, okay, how can I improve this? And so I feel like I found a coach for life here.
And I got to tell you guys, you know, it's been a process. Entrepreneurship is a process. You know, whether you want to be employed or self-employed, at the end of the day, you have to understand you have to be relentlessly resilient. You have to go through a lot of rejection. You have to go through a lot of pain. One of the things I teach in my book is pain and humility and learning are all sisters. They're not twins. But with that comes growth. So, Brian, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wish you the best, especially on your new career. This is like your starting career.
Excited.
So, anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. You know where to find me. Until next time, stay tuned. Take care.
Peace.